What it is, YouTube, you know what it is. It's your boy, Da Moose. Check out this. Alright, so this is All Things Tech. This is DJ's All Things Tech. Let me get that right. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to break down the systems coming from the wall all the way down to the DJ's equipment. And then we're going to go through each and every device that we use as DJs, why we use them, why it's good to get the best brands, why is it good to not sugarcoat and do all that. So that's what we're going to do today. Well, that's what we're going to do. So the first thing we are going to talk about, we're going to talk about electricity, and we're going to talk about electrical cords. We're not going to talk about electricity, because electricity is a deep conversation. With that, that's a whole different ball game. Okay, so we're going to talk about the protectors that we use on a daily basis. Now, you see a lot of DJs pull one of these out of their pockets, and they check the power. This is a good thing to have. Actually, this is the best thing to have. If you do not have this, you need to go get one right now. That is the trick. I don't care if you've been DJing 50 years. Get one of these now, because it's going to save your equipment in the end, and you're going to know what I'm talking about. Okay, so what you're going to do is I'll post this at the end. I'll show the picture of it on the end. Actually, I'll embed the picture. Open ground will be this one. Open neutral would be this one. Open hot would be this, and this. Hot ground reverse would be this one and this one. Hot neutral would be this one and this one. Correct would be this one and this one. And let's say that you found out that this has it. Okay, so now we're going to find out first. This did not work. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to explain to you what's going on. I'm going to give you some facts, and this is all the facts that I have right here. These are facts. This is not something I whipped up out of a dream and I've made up. These are facts coming straight from OSHA. So these are what OSHA discriminate on extension cords, and this is very important because it's 11 pages. I'm not going to go through the whole thing and read all of it. I'm going to break down to what's important to us as DJs. Okay, so what's important to us as DJs, it says OSHA's guidelines to portable electrical cord sets or extension cords, allowing temporary usage of extension cords for remodeling, maintenance, repair, demolition of buildings, holiday lighting needs, according to OSHA. Temporary is defined as 90 days. So technically speaking, when you go to Home Depot or you go to Lowe's and you buy extension cord, that extension cord, from the day you buy it, the day you plug in, you have 90 days of tickets, and we'll go through that in a minute. I'll explain what I'm talking about tickets in a minute. Okay, so inappropriate uses of you see this a lot in the DJ community, and this is why I want to bring it up to your attention, because we need to address this properly, because yeah, I'm guilty of a couple of them. According to the Office of Compliance, overloading the power capabilities of a cord is considered dangerous and is an OSHA violation. Cords with proper electrical rating should only be used for the task at hand. Also, connecting a series of extension cords together, or daisy chaining, is forbidden, and as is using a surge protector, power strip, or power another extension cord. So basically what I'm talking about is taking what I just did here. If you see how I did here, I got off the wall. I'm going to show you so you know what not to do. See how I got it daisy chained? This is what they consider a daisy chain. I did this on purpose. I could go straight to the wall, but it's connected to the fan, and the fan's connected here, and then it's connected to there, and then it's connected to there. That is a daisy chain. That is a no-no. I'll explain to you why daisy chains are no-nos, because when you're DJing, well, when I was DJing back in November, they had crock pots daisy chained. I'm telling you, they had 9 crock pots daisy chained, and they were going all kinds of ways. Things were smoking in the venue. That's why it's important not to daisy chain, because and before each shift in construction, we would do, they call it the weekly, and then the daily, and then there's the monthly, and then there's the tri-monthly. Okay, so how it works would be this. Each day that on your gang box, when you would go to work, I'm a sheet metal worker, so we use cords all the time. You go. I would get there early because I hated doing the paperwork, and you had to do paperwork every day on extension cords. And being a journeyman, that was my charge. So I would go over there and do paperwork, and I'd have to do paperwork, and it had to match OSHA's paperwork. And I had to have my 40 hours of OSHA. Okay, so this is what I would do. I'm going to go through. Okay, so extension cords. Okay, there are a bunch of ideas of extension cords, and we're going to go through them today. Outdoor extension cords have tough covers, maybe rubber, plastic, and vinyl. Using indoor extension cords outside can lead to overheating. Okay, excuse me. Occasional use of extension cords. Okay, so each extension cord, when you purchase the extension cord, it will have on the ticket, it'll say different designated letters, what it's used for and what you can use it for, so you're using it for the right thing. So when you go just buy an extension cord, don't just go run in and grab one because it says 25 foot 14 gauge extension cord, 16 gauge extension cord. You need to do the specs. You need to read the specs, and you need to make sure it's right. Because some are made for heavy, some are made for light. So you need to make sure that as a DJ, we need to get the heaviest cord possible. Don't go get light cord. Do not go get light cord, because you have equipment that is important to you and important to your company or to whomever. You need to make sure you protect your equipment accordingly, and this is why, because electrical fires, electrical hazards are one of the biggest things that happen in any kind of industry. Okay, so it says so the designated letter meanings. I'm going to give you the letter meanings and what they mean. You can find this. I'll leave a link below of where I got this link stuff from, so you can go through it yourself. It says S is indicated as flexible, designed for general use. W indicates the cord is rated for outdoor use. W for weather. Okay, and J indicates that the cord stands standards of 300 volts, 300 voltage insulated. If there is no J In the designation, the cord has thicker 600 insulation, designed for heavier use. Okay, indications of parallel wire construction, which is P, used in air conditioning cords and household extension cords. T indicates cord jackets made from vinyl thermoplastics. E indicates the cord jacket is made of thermoplastics, laminate rubber. O indicates the cord is oil resistant. Type plugs. Extension cords have 3 prongs, while other specific adapters, RVs, have 4 prongs. If you're familiar with 220. 220 is probably one of the biggest things that we 220 and 240. We're not going to be dealing with that kind, but if you do deal with it, then be on the lookout for it. They're for dryers and whatnot, because they take a lot more amperage. Okay, so if you plan to connect multiple devices at a cord at the same time, add the current requirements for each device. The power requirements for some devices are listed in wattage rather than amperage. Use this formula to convert the ratings of amps equals watts. So it's watts divided by 110. And that'll give you the proper requirements for your cords. Okay, so let's get in that. Now we're going to get into cord lengths. I think this is very important. Okay, so this gauge, it says gauge is typically listed along the numbers of conducting wires of cord. For example, a 14-3 cord contains 14 gauge wire and has 3 conducted sides. So there's 3 wires to each wire. Okay, so the cord lengths and amperage ratings. This is what y'all need to I'll leave a link. I will actually copy this in the link below, so you'll get this, so you can see what I'm talking about. Cord lengths with amperage ratings are 25 feet. Device amperage ratings are 1 to 13 amps. Okay, now here's the good use with. Good use with Christmas lights, work lights, portable fans, hedge trimmers, the minimum wire gauge is 16 gauge light duty. So I can use the light duty for this stuff. For Christmas lights, work lights, portable fans, hedge trimmers, and whatnot. And then 25 feet device amperage rating from 14 to 15 amps is good to use with lawnmowers, power drills, table saws, minimum gauge wire, 14 gauge minimum duty. The third one is 25 feet device amperage rating 16 to 20 amps. Good use with, here it is, this is what we need to use. Chainsaws, circular saws, shop vacs, air compressors, and DJ equipment. It doesn't say that, but we need to do this. The minimal wire gauge is 12 gauge or 10 gauge for extra heavy duty. Now, what I mean by this is we need to be pushing from our equipment to the wall 12 gauge. It just said it right there. Because if you add all your equipment up, it's going to equal an air compressor. I guarantee it. Your wattages and amperages are going to eat up. 25 feet, it's going to go to, and I'm in the wrong here, I got a 14 gauge, but I need to get a 12 gauge. Is basically what this is telling me. So I'm doing this to help myself too. Now, I wanted to do research before I did it, but that is heavy duty. We need to have heavy duty wires. And if, okay, now, if we have a subwoofer, We are going to get a 10 gauge wire. A 10 gauge wire to run our subwoofer. We are going to plug the subwoofer into a different place. We're not going to plug it into the same, and this is where you're going to have to pick the client's brain, because you're going to have to pick a place. Device amperage 1 to 13 feet is Christmas lights, work lights, portable fans, hedge trimmers. Minimum gauge wire 16 gauge, so you can go 50 feet with that. Device amperages from 14 to 15 amps. Good to use with lawnmowers, power drills, table saws. A minimum of 14, medium duty. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So here we go on this one. It says 50 feet on device amperages says 16 to 20 amps. This is what you're pulling, DJs. You're pulling between 16 to 20 amps. So that would be chainsaw, circular saws, shop vacs. You need to make sure you're in this criteria. And that's 12 to 10 gauge. 10 gauge is the highest you can get. I don't think they make 8 gauge. I think they do make 8 gauge. Oh yeah, they do make 8 gauge, but that's 220. So just to let you know, the lower the number, the higher the wire. Get that in your head. The lower the number, the higher the wire. It's not the higher the number, the higher the wire. It's lower the number, higher the wire. And then 100 feet, this is what y'all been waiting. Okay, 100 is 1 to 10 amps. Good to use with Christmas, lights, working lights, hedge lights, and you can still use the 16 gauge. So the 16 gauge is pretty much for your lights. So you can use the 16 gauge, no problem. The 100 foot, which amperage of 11 to 13, you could still pull the 14 gauge wire. You can still pull it. Now, at the 100 foot rate, and I'm going to share this with you because you need to get this one down. The 14 to 15 amps, this one's jumped. It was 14 gauge over here. Now it jumps to 12 gauge. And that's chainsaws, circular saws, and shop vacs. It was 14, now it went to heavy duty 12 gauge. Now this is the one that we need to do as DJs. The 16 to 20 amps. Good use with air compressors and DJ equipment. It doesn't say that. You'll see what I'm talking about. It doesn't say it, but we need 10 gauge wire if we're going to pull 100 foot. Now 150 foot. 1 to 7 amps. That's Christmas lights, work lights, portable fans with 14 gauge wire. Now remember, you're not daisy chaining this wire. That's one long wire. And then 150 feet is 12 gauge for lawnmowers, power drills, and 150 feet from 11 to 15. Good to use with table saws, chainsaws, circular saws, and shop vacs. Minimum gauge wiring at 10 gauge. Okay, it doesn't say anything about our equipment. So there you're gonna have to play odds. Okay. Now we're going to go into the differences. So our green extension cord with the UL mark indicated. There are extension cords with GFCI lighted plug, connector boxes, multiple sockets, and depending on your refiner needs. Okay, and then you got the ground facility, the GFCI, which is the ground faulty circuit interrupter, which basically you need to have coming out of the wall. Link up here to Rick Webb. He actually has one that he talks about the amperage. 1 to 7 amps. It's Christmas lights, portable fans. You're spiked up to 14 gauge. 150 feet is 8 to 10 amps. And that's lawnmowers, power drills. Now at 150 feet, you are not supposed to work. And at 150 feet, you should be plugged into another power source by then. Meaning that you're beyond your limits. 100 feet is as far as you go. Because that's what the specs show. I'll leave the specs in below, but 100 feet is it. If a client wants you to go further than that, you're going to have to figure something out. You're going to have to, because the air compressor is not rated, and if it is rated, it's 8 gauge or 220 or 240. So you're pulling out the big amperage from the house. And you're looking at basically festival power from the house. So it's a good thing not to do that. No daisy chaining, DJs. Daisy chaining is, if you have to daisy chain, you need to go out and get another wire. And when as you saw the progression from 25 to 150 feet, you're actually progressing in wire size. So remember, that is the pro tip. That is a big pro tip. The more you go up in feet from the power source, that is when you are going to go up with that's when you're going to go up on your wires. So there's one thing that I want to say to you guys is please be safe out there. I'm doing these tech tips because a lot of DJs are new and they don't know nothing about power because they probably haven't grown up around it and all that. So that's basically why I'm doing this, because okay, so that's basically what I want to say. So they ain't going to subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell for more notifications. If you like what you hear, hit the like button. If you don't like what you hear, hit the don't like button. And tell me why you don't like my videos. That being said, remember, if I hit 20 subscribers by Friday, I have a free gift. This little bad boy. I will send you one. 20 subscribers. One magical person will win one of these and another gift. So 2 gifts. So be on the lookout for that video. It will be a live video. It'll be my first time going live on 20 subscribers. So if that being said, if you know somebody that wants to get more tips, let them know. Let's get these subscribers in so we can go ahead. Somebody be a lucky winner for one of these and another Chinese proverb. It says, behind an able man
there are always other able men. No one accomplishes anything alone. 3 humble shoemakers brainstorming will make a great statesman. Teamwork allows people to do much more than other people could do on their own. Only when all contributed their firewood can they build a strong fire. It takes a group of people to build something that will last. Peace.